Joining. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited that you are here today. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and put your name and your school that you're in the chat so we can know where you're from. So welcome to our virtual family cooking night. My name is Mackenzie Fox, and I work for the Kentucky Horticulture Council. This event is being put on by many different partners, including the Partners for Education from Berea College, the Hort Council, where I'm from, Moonlight Meat, who sponsored the activity, and the KDA, Kentucky Farm to School program. So for your best viewing, go ahead and turn your Zoom settings on presenter mode, and I'll give you guys a minute to do that. And this will just ensure that you can see both cameras that we're going to use today. So I'm sure you guys are aware that many of the different ingredients that we're using today came from local farmers. And so we're going to give you guys a little overview of where your ingredients came from. So the cucumbers and tomatoes came from the Cornets in London, Kentucky, and they have a little store that you can go and visit. The kale came from Elmwood Stock Farm in Georgetown. The cheese came from Wildcat Mountain Cheese from East Bernadette. And the chicken was grown by Farmer Joe in Salvisa, Kentucky, and processed by Moonlight Meats with Ann Bays, who sponsored this activity today, and that's in Williamsburg, Kentucky. We want to give a special thanks to Moonlight Meats for sponsoring this event. They allowed this event to happen. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started on the class. So go ahead and get all of your ingredients out and get ready to go.
So she's turning it over to me now. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to see you all here tonight, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a good time with this. My name's Chef Judy, or Judy Grenay. You can just call me Chef Judy if you'd like. I'm with the Kentucky Department of Agriculture Chef in Schools program, and we go around to the different schools to encourage your food service directors to use locally sourced products on the school menu wherever possible. And I also represent a program that's a partnership with Sullivan University that is a culinary program, Junior Chef. We'll talk more about that at the end of the class. But today, you all are junior chefs. You're learning about cooking, striving to give your family a nice meal. We're really looking forward to having a good time preparing this. So the name of this dish is Southwest Chicken and Quinoa Bowl. Okay, it's a one bowl dish, easy to prepare. If you've never had quinoa, I'm going to tell you it's not going to taste like anything you've ever had before. So don't get your taste buds all primed for one thing and you're going to have something else. This is going to taste totally different than what you've ever had. Quinoa is a nice grain. It's a good place to start a bowl in place of rice or some other bowl. First thing you're going to do is get your bags unpacked. If you haven't already done that, you're going to find that you need to go to a can opener or get a can opener and open your cans of beans and corn so we can get that out of the way. Also, your can of chicken stock needs to be opened. And if you can, pour that up into a measuring cup. It'll be a little bit easier. Watch the sharp edges on these cans, okay? So I'll give you a moment to do that. In the meantime, I'll talk about the ingredients we're going to be using first. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cook the quinoa. So we'll need to have the quinoa container opened. It's this little container right here. And we'll open it up, place it down carefully. You don't want to send your quinoa all over the kitchen. That could be slightly disastrous. And listen, I've never done one of these before. So if you're new to Zoom cooking, so am I. So if we make mistakes, we're just going to laugh and move on, okay? So you might get a chance to laugh at me. All right, so we've opened our quinoa. Okay. because we'll need the chicken broth and the quinoa before we get started. So what we're going to do when we start is to get our saucepan, which is right here, and we're going to pour the chicken broth into the saucepan. We're going to add the quinoa to it. Now, if you've ever cooked rice, the water has to boil first, and you add the rice to it, and you bring it back to the boil. Quinoa takes out all those steps. You simply add the broth and the quinoa to the pan and bring it to a boil. So we'll do that here in just a second. When you're ready, stick your thumb up and let me know. Everybody ready? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Not quite yet. Okay, we'll give you another minute or two. It's okay. Take your time. This is supposed to be fun. All right. Working on it. Here we come. Keep an eye on it a minute. Mackenzie, let me know. Okay. Have you opened your can of chicken broth yet? Thumbs up if you've opened your can of chicken broth. Okay. All right. I'm seeing thumbs. Lots of thumbs. Good job. Okay. All right. So here we go. Brace yourselves. We're moving to the stove. Okay. New camera. All right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our stove on. And of course, I immediately picked the wrong burner. All right, make sure your stove is on medium high. If you have an electric stove, that's easy to pick. If you've got a gas stove, you just kind of have to look at it, see it looks about medium high. All right, we're going to pour the broth into the pan. And we're going to add our quinoa to that. Then we're going to take a heat-safe spatula or a spoon, and we're going to stir that around just a little bit here until the water comes to a boil. Now, we don't have to stand here and play with this while it's coming to a boil. We can go on and multitask. So I'm going to show you a little trick here because we're going to be using a cutting board and a knife. Cutting boards can slide around on your counter. If you want to stop that, get a couple of pieces of paper towel, dampen them, lay them down on your counter, and place your cutting board on top of it. And suddenly, your cutting board is stable. It's not going to go sliding around while you're trying to slice. Now we're going to keep one eye on our stove, but we're going to work on cutting up this kale, all right? So find a knife. There are lots of different knives you can choose from. The standard chef's knife looks like this, okay? It's big, and you hold it by pinching right here, putting your fingers behind the guard, and using it in this fashion. Okay, if you don't have a chef's knife, you might have one that looks like this. Works just the same. The guard may be a little closer, so hold it a little tighter. Make sure it doesn't come in contact with your finger. If all you have is a paring knife, that works too. So just in fact, just to show you it works, I will use the paring knife. I'm going to take these knives, place them over here out of the way. Any knives you're not using should be laid away from where you're working with the blades pointed away from you. Okay, all right, so here we go. Got a kale. Take a peek at your water. Might see a bubble or two. Give it a little stir. Here we go. If your kale has stems, you can break those off, okay? We're just going to lay those aside. Now, some kale has real curly leaves and edges. This kale here is a nice leafy kale. The other's very nice too, but this one's got a really good flavor. So, but we can skip a step. We don't have to take that center stem out. Lay all your kale leaves one on top of the other, okay? And now we're going to take it over to the sink and we're going to give it a quick rinse, okay? So walk back over here, turn on your water, give it a quick rinse. like so. Shake it out. Grab a paper towel. Lay your paper towel on your cutting board and lay your leaves there. Pat them dry. They're dry enough. They can have a little water on them, it's no big deal. Always wash fresh vegetables simply because they can pick up, dirt and grit in the garden, but always wash vegetables that come from the grocery store because they have traveled a long way to get to where they're being used. That's the beauty of buying things local, is you pretty much know who's growing your food, and it travels a whole lot less far. It is much more fresh. So, okay, so now we've got our leaves all laid on top of one another. We're going to roll them in kind of a little cigar, like so. I'm going to start at one end, like this. Take your fingers of the left hand, or if you're right-handed, use your left hand. If you're left-handed, use your right hand. So make a claw. Place your claw down on top of the leaves, holding them firmly to the cutting board, and just start slicing across those stems. As you move closer to your fingers, make your claw a little tighter. When you get close to your fingers, pinch like that, move your claw back, and continue slicing across. Can you all see? Thumbs up if everybody can see. Can everybody see what I'm doing? Good, okay. This is called chiffonade. What this does is it makes nice, long, thin strips. And if you want them a little chunkier, you can just go right down the middle once or twice with your knife, and you're left with a little pile of chiffonade kale. Take this, place it in a bowl over here, and move it out of the way. Okay. How many of you are done with that? Your water should be just about boiling. Thumbs up if you finished the kale. Okay, check your water. It should be starting to boil right now. And if your water is boiling, can you see the top of the stove? Okay, if you all can see the top of the stove, we should be switching cameras right now. You'll see bubbles around the edge of this pan. We want to get bubbles in the middle too. As you can see, there's some starting to form right now. Okay, when it comes to what they call a full rolling boil, it means it's bubbling all over the place. We'll slap the lid on it and turn the temperature down. Can you all see? See the bubbles? All right. About time to put the lid on and turn the temperature down. Not quite too low, but close. Okay. Now this will take about 10 minutes more to cook. We'll leave it alone for a second and proceed on with the other things. We need to fix our chicken, get it all ready to go. So take your tray of chicken, unwrap it if you haven't already done so, and grab a bowl. What we're going to do is we're going to season this chicken. Now this chicken is wonderful, naturally raised chicken from Farmer Joe and over in Salvisa. It's been cooked for you and cut into chunks. And what we're going to do is going to pour this into the bowl here. And we are going to add the spices. The spices in your little container. Get your little container right here. Okay. Shake those up so they're all well blended. These spices include oregano, a little bit of kosher salt, cumin, chili powder, and paprika. So we put them all together for you to make it easy. Okay. You'll take this seasoning and you will pour it all in here. Just sprinkle it out over top of that chicken. Very good. Set your container in a little tray aside. And we're going to toss the spices around just a little bit. And then we're going to add half of the lime juice. You'll have a little starred container that says lime juice on top. All right, we're going to very carefully open that, set it down on the counter to open it. If you're like me, you'll spill it all over the place. I'm good at spilling things. I am not a neat chef, sorry. Okay, we're going to pour half of this onto the chicken in the bowl. There we go. That's about half. And I'm going to put the lid back on because, like I said, I spill things. And we're going to add half of the zest. Okay. All right, stir that around until that mixture looks nice and wet on the chicken. Get it all good and coated. If you have cooking gloves, vinyl gloves that you use for culinary purposes, you can use your hands to do this. Just change gloves when you're finished. Some people find that easier. All right. Now, some of these pieces of chicken may look a little large to you, but when we put it in the pan and heat it up, they'll soften a bit, so you can actually take your spatula and kind of chop them up a little smaller if you like. All right. So now we're ready with the chicken. Our chicken is ready. We'll set that over here right next to the kale. All right. Okay. Now we're going to check our quinoa. It's cooking. Make sure that your water is still bubbling, okay? Mine had gotten a little low, so. All right. Now I'm going to move this over to I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be cooking our vegetables to get them ready to put in with this dish. The first thing we'll do is we're going to take our olive oil, which is, again, right here in this little container, and we're going to measure out a teaspoonful of olive oil. Excuse me, I'm sorry, a tablespoonful of olive oil, like so. We're going to come over here and we're going to turn the heat on under our skillet. Good. There we go. And add in the olive oil. Everybody with me? Thumbs up if you are. You okay? All right. Good. We've got thumbs. Good. Okay, great. So we're going to take our skillet. I'm going to stir that oil around in there so it covers the pan. The first vegetable that's going to go in here is going to be the onion. The onion gets to saute for quite a little while. Now, if you don't really like onion, you don't have to use all of this. Just use as much as you think you want to, okay? Got plenty here. Save some for next time. Just seal the bag and put it in the refrigerator. Drop your onion into the skillet. Check your quinoa, bubbling away. And we're going to saute this onion by letting it get hot in the oil and start releasing the natural sugars that are in that. We'll see the onion start turning a very nice golden brown. You don't want your heat any higher than about medium high. Medium should be about right. Again, this is another thing that you don't have to keep fiddling with. You can just kind of let it do its own thing. If you don't want to stir, you can shake it. Also, if you feel that it's getting too hot and you have an electric stove particularly, simply lift the pan away from the heat for a few moments, let the pan cool down just a bit, adjust your temperature, let that burner reduce in heat, and then set it back down. All right, so these guys are working. Quinoa is coming. You should, when you look at your quinoa, you should see that there's a little bit less water in there. The quinoa absorbs the water, and then it does something really fun. Rice absorbs water, just gets a little larger and stays the same shape. When quinoa absorbs water, it grows a tail. Seriously, that tiny little kernel puts a little tiny tail-like thread out, and it's so cute, but that's how you know it's done. You should hear your skillet kind of beginning to sizzle over here with the onions, a little popping and cracking. This is the fun part, when things start popping. Okay. It takes a little bit for onion to burn, so don't worry, you'll be fine. All right. So now let's go and read a little bit further ahead in our recipe. Where we are right now is we put the olive oil. We're on step 5, olive oil in the skillet on medium-high heat. We've added the onions, and we're gonna let those cook for a few more minutes before we add the peppers. Once we've added the peppers, we'll stir those around for another minute or 2, continue cooking until they get this nice aroma going and your onions golden brown, your peppers have a little black on the edges. That's called a sear. That's perfectly wonderful. They're not burning. My fan just kicked on, so if you can't hear me, I'll speak up a little higher. And then once that's done, we will move this and put it in another bowl and proceed with the rest of the recipe. So check your onions. As you can see, these are starting to get a little bit of brown on them. So let's throw those peppers in now. Get your bag of peppers and just toss them in gently. Everybody with me? Okay. So we're stirring the peppers around. And checking our quinoa. Notice there's a lot less water in there now. That's good. Just every now and again, take a peek under the lid of your pan. I kind of cheated. I've got a clear pan lid. Beginning to smell quite nice. Yes. All right. So can you see where the onions are starting to get nice and golden on some edges? This will take a minute or 2. But a cooked onion has a nice, mellow, almost sweet flavor. There's no bitter bite to it. And it really brings out the sugars and the sweet peppers too.
Chef, I think I would be remiss if I didn't tell everyone that Miss Martinez chopped all those peppers, so I am
Okay, take a
absolutely sure
peek
they're
at
the
the
best
quinoa.
peppers ever.
Ah, now it's beginning to come. Very little water left in there. How are your onions coming along? Are they beginning to brown? Thumbs up if your onions are beginning to brown. Got some thumb. Okay, very good, very good. How does it smell? It smells good, right? Yeah. Just a few more minutes. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drain our corn. The onions and peppers are just about ready. So we're going to go ahead and drain our corn. Take a colander, set it over the sink, drain out your corn. We're just going to let it sit there like that for a second or 2. And it'll continue to drain. If you don't have a colander, you can kind of get your adult to hold the lid and kind of drain it against the bowl. Okay, I think these are about done. I'm going to turn off my heat. Move this over. And I'm going to set these right in here. All right. Now don't put your skillet in the sink. We're going to use it again. And since it's all going in the same recipe and all has pretty much the same seasoning profile, we are going to use the same skillet. Don't have to rinse it out. It's ready to go. We're going to take that corn and put it straight into this hot skillet. And what we're going to do is we're going to pan roast that corn and give it a really nice flavor. Everybody got their corn ready? Thumbs up if you've got your corn ready. If not, I'll wait a minute. We can check on the quinoa. Looks like a few people are still working on their peppers and their corn, so we'll just wait a second. Let's take a peek at that quinoa. Okay, if you look in on your quinoa right about now, you're going to see some little tiny tails beginning to form. Let it continue cooking. Got little tiny lines there. See that? See those little curly Q things on the spatula here? That's what we're looking for. Means our quinoa is just about ready. Cover it back up, let it cook for another second or two. So has everybody got their corn ready? Have you put your peppers and onions in your bowl yet? Set aside. Everybody ready? They are actually cooked fully about 5, just seconds after they go in there, but they should be caramelized. Let me show you here. See how these look? Everybody see? Can everybody see? Okay, that's what they should look like. Now, if you like the onions darker, that's fine. You can let them cook a little bit longer, but this is fully flavorful, fully cooked, nothing raw about this dish so far. So all right, you ready? Okay, let's turn the heat back on under our skillet. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off on my quinoa, and yours should be just about ready too. If it looks like this, it's ready to go. So put the lid back on for a second. Let's go ahead and cook our corn and beans, and then we'll work on the quinoa. Ready, set? Dump your corn. Hear the sizzle? All right. Take your spatula and kind of stir that around. Again, your skillet should be on about medium high. Let's turn mine down. There we go, just a bit. Okay. Now the corn is very moist, so it's going to take it a few minutes to start roasting as that water cooks off and evaporates. So we're going to take the colander over again. The black beans need to be drained as well. So take again over to the sink. Pour the beans out into the colander. And some people like to give them a quick rinse just to help speed along that draining process. Give them a shake and just let them sit there and drain. All right. Now the quinoa's off the heat. So we'll go back to step number 3. It says check your quinoa. If fully cooked, fluff the quinoa with a fork. If you've got a fork, that's fine. If you've got the spatula, that's fine too. Should be nice and fluffy. There's my friend the fan again. And we're going to stir half of the lime zest, half of the juice, and the kale into that. So the other half of the lime juice goes in here. The kale. And a little bit of the lime zest. right. And we're going to stir that in. Okay. Get that all in there nice. The heat from the quinoa cooks the kale a little bit, softens it up. Although kale is good in salads, just like with your other salad greens, it's a really nice leafy green vegetable, eaten raw or cooked. All right. So there we are. We'll take this completely off of the heat and set it aside. Now I'm going to rinse off my spatula. You can change to another one if you like. And we're going to go over here and look at this corn. Okay, follow me to the stove. All right, stir your corn and you'll see that it's starting to get brown on one side. This is called roasting, okay? You're bringing out all the natural sugars. I'm gonna move this over here to this one. See it a little easier, I think. Yeah, now you can see a little better. Okay. Now this is not burning. This is roasting. Roasted corn is really delightful. It's sweet, a little bit crunchy, but not hard. Okay, I'm gonna turn my heat off for just a second on this while I get my beans. Okay, so once this is roasted but not burning, we will stir in the black beans. And we'll cook it for 1 minute and then we'll take it off the heat, okay? So let's get our black beans, shake out any water that's in there and toss them in too. All right. So what you're actually making several dishes here that all go together to make one entree. Stir this around carefully. It's going to take a second for that heat to come back up because when you pour the cold beans in with the hot, it reduces the temperature in the skillet. So give it a minute. You want the beans to kind of lose their glossy look. Everybody with me so far? I hope you think it smells as good as I think it smells. Things will really start getting aromatic when they start the chicken. Alrighty. Okay, so you should be seeing that the beans are losing their gloss. They're looking a little more dull brown. That's just fine. Thank you. I like it when it's quieter. Okay, so this should be just about ready. Can you see what it should look like? All right, so now we're going to turn off that heat. Now this needs to cool off a little bit before we finish up the corn and black bean salad. So we'll pour this into a bowl. Carefully get your adult to help you with this. Manipulating these skillets can be a little bit hard for smaller hands. I understand we have all ages out there. That's great. It's never too soon or too late to start cooking. All right, so same skillet again. We're going to add a little bit of oil to the pan. Before we turn it on, let's read our directions, okay? All right, so now we're going to put the skillet back on the heat. Just in a minute, we'll turn the heat back on. We add a teaspoonful of the oil, and when the oil is hot, we're going to use a slotted spoon to, although this isn't really terribly wet, this chicken was a little bit drier than the one I'd used before, so it's not going to require too much to get it into the skillet. We're going to drop it into the skillet and listen to it start to sear. Okay, so it's going to heat it up, make it nice and bubbly, and then we're going to add the chicken stock, the last little bit of the chicken stock that we have here. So let's go ahead and open that up and get it ready. All right, so we need our chicken and our chicken stock. Let's turn the heat back up on the skillet and get that oil warming up in the pan. You can use your spatula to kind of scrape up the little bits on the bottom. All those flavors go right back into it. Nothing is wasted. All right, shouldn't take but a second or two. All right, here we go. Ready? Thumbs up if everybody's ready. Everybody ready? We're going to toss the chicken into the skillet. Scrape out all of those good bits that are in there. All of the seasoning goes with it. There we go. Right. Now this chicken is not raw, it's cooked. So it's okay when we finish to put that back in that same bowl. If this was raw chicken, we would put that bowl directly into the sink and have another receptacle ready to receive the chicken. You never put cooked food in a bowl that's had raw chicken or raw meat of any kind in it, okay? All right. Get this stirring around here for just a second longer. Then we're going to take the rest of the chicken broth here in your little cup, quarter cup, and we're going to slowly add this to the skillet. And you'll get to hear it start to sizzle. Hear that? There we go. Stir it around, nice and sizzly. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And it should smell really nice to you. I hope it does. This only takes a minute to do. We don't want to lose too many of those juices. We want that chicken to stay nice and moist. All right, look at that. All right. Stir it around just a little bit. Just enough to get it heated again. This chicken is fully cooked. You just want it to get warm. Is everybody with me so far? Can I see a show of thumbs? Okay, good, looking good. All right. Okay, that looks about enough for my skillet. Does your skillet look like mine? Close? This is, if it does, then we'll turn out our heat on our stovetop, and we're going to put the chicken back in this bowl. All right. Scrape out all of the good parts, all of the spices, leftover juices, all those contribute to the flavor of the dish. Give it a little stir in there. And now we're ready. Okay, take a minute, take a deep breath. You did fine. Everybody okay with this? Thumbs up for everybody that's gotten this far without burning your kitchen down. I have. All right, everybody ready? That's great. Okay, now we get to season the chicken with the last little bit of the lime zest here. Let's throw that in there. If you want to add a little bit of salt at this point, you can. All right, now we're going to build the bowl. Okay, so we're going to take the cucumber, which is in this container, and we're going to add it into the, I need a bigger bowl. I'm going to add it into the, I don't know what I can do. No, I'm not going to do that. Hang on. I have a slight technical problem here. Stir this around. My assistant is busily hunting for another bowl. So take your, thank you, Mackenzie. Okay, Kiva love. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Can you see me now? Thank you. All right. So toss in your cucumber, stir this around. And as much of the jalapeno as you think you'd like, that goes in there as well. All right. Toss that together. And you can add, like I said, up to a teaspoonful of salt, or half teaspoon of salt would be more than enough on this, I think. This is a dish that can also be served in your school cafeteria, which is why we don't add salt to it. School cafeterias are required to limit the amount of salt, fat, carbs in school lunches, but these dishes are flavorful without the salt. That's why we use all of those spices. Okay, so we'll set that aside now. All right. The next step is that we will take the quinoa, which is right here. It's ready to serve. Okay, so find yourself a bowl or 4 bowls, 5 bowls, however many people are there. You're going to take a bit of your quinoa. I like to kind of press mine into a bowl like this, shape it, and put it in the middle, like so. Makes a nice, neat little mound. And then we're going to kind of just put our other ingredients around it. So we'll take a spoonful of the bean and corn. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, can you all see now? Everybody with me? I think she's changed the camera here just a bit. Got it? Ready? Okay. Place a little pile of the corn and bean salad right here. Grab some of your chicken. Place it over here. All right. Like so. Can you see that? All right. Then we're going to take some of the onions and peppers, put them along the side, like so. Again, you can add as much as you like on the sides. Okay. All right. I like a lot of this. Then we have some wonderful homemade Pico De Gallo, which is a really, really nice. You all know what Pico De Gallo is, really nice salsa-like, tomato-y condiment. And this is locally sourced. We made it here in the kitchen just the other day. We've got a wonderful cheese, again, a locally sourced Wildcat mountain cheese, right? So, and then we also have cilantro and sour cream. So what I like to do is take a mound of the cheese, place it right in the middle. Everybody loves cheese, always apply cheese, okay? Then you can place, sprinkle on as much Pico De Gallo as you like. I like the sauce from the Pico De Gallo as well. Just pour that in there. There should be enough there for at least 4 servings. Okay. Add a little bit of sour cream. I'm going to use my little knife here to get the sour cream up. A little sour cream on the top. So. And last but not least, fresh cilantro. Sprinkle a few little pieces on the top. And it looks to me as if dinner is served. How many of you made it this far? Everybody with me? Still working on it? Good, good. So do you think it looks good? I hope you do. I can't really hear you, but if you've got a thumbs up for that, then that's great. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Recipes like this can be played with any way you like. If you have leftover pork from a pork roast your mom made, chunk it up and add the seasonings and try it again. Look at that bowl there. That's beautiful. That's a gorgeous bowl. It looks like somebody's already starting to eat. Very good. Miss Paisley Johnson is eating. Excellent. Ah, very good. Looks like everybody's getting ready to have some. That's wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been wonderful for me and a nice opportunity to get to know you all. And it looks like you all have the makings of budding junior chefs. Let me tell you a little bit about this program. For you elementary school children, it'll be a few years before you'll be qualified because it is open to students in 8th grade through 12th grade. It's a joint effort between Sullivan Culinary School and the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. And it's a Sweet 16-like competition for teams of up to 5 people. Students compete, they build their recipes, they create their recipes, they demonstrate their recipes, and then we have a cook-off at the state fair every year. This will be our first year back. We had to skip last year due to the pandemic, but we're back up and running this year. And we do hope that we will be able to have a similar type of competition. We don't know yet, but we're holding the competition, and we've got teams already registered and ready to present their recipes. So we're excited. The prizes for this are scholarships to Sullivan University. So if you've ever thought of going into culinary as a career, this might be something that would interest you. It's a great character building experience. It teaches you how to work with other people in a kitchen, in a tense sort of environment, you know, under competition pressure, but it's a lot of fun. And you learn a number of life skills while you're doing it. I tend to concentrate on the fun part. So, and I think you should too. But thank you very much for joining me this evening and allowing me to come into your kitchens and cook with you. I've had a great time, and I hope you enjoy your dinner. Thanks very much.
All right, everybody. So now we are going to do a little drawing for some prizes. So Anne has so generously donated 5 gift cards to her shop, Moonlight Meats, and we also have a health and wellness bag that we will be giving away. Oh, look, there's Anne right now. Hold on one second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I realize you. I'm sorry. I should have come up there and opened the door for you.
And we're drawing names right now.
Ooh.
So we're gonna have you draw names.
I'll
Yes.
draw names. There you go. Where are the pens?
You come over here by Judy.
Where do you want to hold the roll? Okay, ready, set? Drum roll, please. All right. And the winner is Lauren Carnes.
Lauren Carnes is one of our winners. We're drawing 6 names.
6 names, okay. Name number 2, drum roll, please. Parker Davis. Parker Davis. Name number 3. Cammie Garland. Wonderful. Name number 4. Jameson Jones. Jameson Jones, congratulations.
5. Sadie Melton.
And Sadie Melton, congratulations.
All right, you 5 won a gift card to Moonlight Meats. So we will send you instructions on how to get that. And our last drawing will be for our health and wellness bag. So that's our last one.
Paisley Johnson.
Paisley
Yay,
Johnson.
Paisley. She's
Paisley's
missing.
left the kitchen. There she is.
There she is.
Bouncing back into the camera. There you go.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And
That's it.
we'll have Kayla close us out. So Kayla, you want to come on camera again?
Yes, I want to thank you all so much. I am Kayla Hubbard. I'm with Partners of Education with Berea College. We serve at Knox, Barberville, and Corbin schools. And I want to thank you all so much for participating tonight. I want you all to go to myplate.gov and make sure that you are seeing that. I think Judy done a wonderful representation of the fruits that are the grains and veggies and things that you need on a daily basis. And that's something very important and something that we strive at Partners of Education to let our families know about is daily nutrition and physical fitness. If you make sure that you are putting your name and your school in the chat before we leave, and also do the survey that's in the chat before we leave. But we want to thank you all so much. This was wonderful. Judy, you done an excellent job.
You're very kind, and thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I really did enjoy it. Nice meeting all of you students too.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.